Alright, I'm live. Thanks for checking out the VOD. Thanks for being here. Apparently, if I wanted to, I can somehow make the subscribe button flash or something. I saw that on a video earlier. If anybody knows how to do that, comment in the mention in the comments, because I'll forget to look it up. Yeah. Hey, Justin Beard, man, you were in here in a flash, buddy. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this. I changed my chair setting to oh, let's clear this. Let's clear all these errors and see what happens. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this. I'm trying to fix my posture a little bit, and it's already pretty uncomfortable. I wish there was a setting between here and here. Maybe I just leave it like this, and then if I start slouching, if I slouch, you guys yell at me. Do me a favor. I want to ask that you do that for a bit, because I can't sit with it like all the way forward, but I don't want to keep getting in the habit of like just slouching down. I noticed it in my videos. It can't be healthy for me. When I've got to post the videos up for the VODs, I like pull them off Twitch and then manually upload them, and I've got to like scrub through to remember what the hell the session was about. And yeah, I noticed I slouch an awful lot. Let me turn the music down a little bit. Maybe that's a little bit better. Let me open my drink. Part of the problem, I think, is the lumbar support. I've got a lumbar support here, and I've got a neck support here. But I guess if I were to take the neck support off, maybe I could lean it forward more and I wouldn't feel as bad. Maybe I'll try that. And then I got an old man pillow that I sit on so my ass doesn't get sore. I got all the pillows, buddy. What's up, Swanee? I need a better chair. I probably do. I need like an adult chair. I got this chair in 2020. I got one for me, and then when I think we set Jasmine up a little area and then got her one as well. Where was that area even? Why did we end up with two chairs? That apartment was so small. Anyways. But yeah, so it's just like one of these gamer chairs as opposed to like a grown-up chair. But I mean, it's done well enough for the last however many years. Justin says, I remember my back got hurt for months. I jumped out of the way of a car that almost hit me. It was like years ago, and I landed on my back. Oh, that's no fun. Jace says, I have similar issues because Jace the Gremlin says, I have similar issues because I still like a gremlin, go figure. I just sit cross-legged almost always. Yeah, Jasmine's got, like, she sits on this big flat thing, so she can just, like, sit cross-legged or whatever. Hey, Sparrow. Nice to see you. I'm hoping that our friend Simon shows up. Dude, I really need to... I got so much shit to do that I keep, like, putting it off, but I really need to take my desk apart, dust it. Oh, it's filthy. And then adjust some stuff like this mic stand and other shit. Tomorrow may wind up being a maintenance day if I don't get caught up in another... Like, what the heck is that? Sea serpent? If I don't end up being caught in another fun conversation like this morning. Hey, Grumpy. Grumpy says, I'm moving into my first house in a few weeks. Packing while working from home. Nice. Packing, working from home, and listening to the stream. Perfect. So, hey, what's up, Chili Sauce, Nicodemus, Swanee, Justin Beard, Ghastly, Jace the Gremlin. I'll say hi to Stro again. Grumpy TV. Dragon, what's up? Nicodemus says, my day job boss has a pelvic pillow also. Peeps are falling apart lately. Who knew pillows would be mandatory after a certain age? I had one of these little cushiony ass pillows back in the day when I was working. Was it like EQ or something? One of my previous gaming jobs, I had one. Dude, there's so much chair time, so much sitting in the chair that a little extra cushion for your tush is not bad. Grumpy says, I work in chiropractic software. Oh, that seems like a good gig. Because Sparrow said I recently started going to a chiropractor. It's interesting. Yeah, one of my longtime jiu-jitsu partners, Amir, if you're out there, Amir in Austin is a chiropractor. Dr. Ghazi. I think it was Amir Ghazi. And yeah, talk about a strong dude. He had that chiropractor's hand strength. You have a wider chair without arms for the funky sitting. Yeah, like I said, Jasmine's got... She's actually got two... We're so cheap, man. You can buy like the fancy ass cubes that you sit on, and they're like $300 or something. Hey, Grick. Wrong Warp, what's up? Chinny D. Oh yeah, Chinny. I'm gonna need to hop in and check out the collision changes. Vulork. Yeah, so Jasmine, rather than buy one of those like €300 little cubes to sit on, we've got something. I don't remember what it was. Something came in like some pretty durable styrofoam, like pretty big box. Oh, I remember what it was now. Those big ass, the like 90-pound Bowflex adjustable dumbbells. Each one came in like this monster like styrofoam enclosure. And so got one that I threw away initially, got another one at the garden that I've used as sort of a backstop for airsoft, as an airsoft target. And then I've got the other one, Jasmine's like taped it together, and she's got a little like yoga, one of those like meditation cushions on it, and that's her chair. Grumpy says, I'm down 54 pounds. My butt has less fat, so I can sit for less time, but I get up super easy. Hey, it's getting up super easy is a nice trade-off. Bro says, my guy's an ex-rugby player. So which topic are we on? Because I bounced around. Is that in relation to hand strength? Is that in relation to, I don't know, what would we qualify this? Sitting in butts? Is it a butt topic? Or is it a hand strength topic? Or is it a chiropractor topic? I would assume chiropractor, because if he played rugby, then his various bones are probably popping. All right, so you know what? Because I'm gonna get into doing some actual work. Honest. What we're looking at here is the reason why the fog looks a little funky, and ooh, I wonder if I can just get in here. Let me see if I can get in here. The reason why the fog looks a little funky and the and we're out here in some islands is because this is a new zone. Oh, your guy. Ah, all right. Your chiropractor is an ex-rugby player and strong. When you said my guy, I thought you were just throwing it out there, like your dude. I was like, I did not know that about him. Just because he's in IT does not mean he couldn't be in a rugby player. I don't know. What's up, Quixana? Hey, Kenji. I did just mention Airsoft, Justin Beard. I did. All right, so for those of you that just got in here, please keep an eye out. If you see me slouching, call me out. That way I'll remember, because I look at chat. I don't look at myself. What's up, XB? Oh, posture check, everyone, and also, are you guys doing a good job of saying hi to people as they come in? Do you think that your performance has been good enough? Folks watching this on YouTube, you're excluded from this. I'm not disappointed in you. People in chat, though. Remember, this is just, it's a big guild say. You can't spam too much. This isn't one of those chats where you're going to get yelled at for spamming, right? When it comes to saying hello. You spam other stuff, then maybe, but someone comes in, they say hi, like Sparrow just said, hi people, you can say hello back. You can be like, hi Sparrow. Maltros comes in, says hello. All right. I mean, if you don't want to do it, you don't have to do it, but you're going to be here anyway. Lurkers, you don't have to do it. You're excluded. We don't even know you're here. Will there be ore nodes or other nodes in the water, a la Conan Exiles, Dragonat? I wouldn't be shocked. I don't know. I don't know if we've discussed it, but I wouldn't be shocked. Why not? Unless it does some funky stuff with animations. But even if it does, maybe. Hey, Malus, Grix, Thulon, Viper. Lemon candies. Oh, Viper said my sciatica kicked off yesterday as it goes. I haven't been able to walk properly all day. Sciatic problems when I was 32 are what got me to really commit to fitness and got me into martial arts. Nick says there are already some ore nodes under the water. You hear that, Dragon? What's up, Commodore? Dude, I am so sleepy. Jasmine's Wednesdays are typically a shorter day, and so when she got home, we had some coffee. I asked her to bring some donuts because I was craving a donut. Some coffee, donuts, and then because she had like a dinner to go to this evening, and I've got a stream. We took a 1 hour nap, and because I needed it. I didn't go to bed till like midnight last night and got up at about, I don't know, got up at 6. I'm not as good at that as I used to be. And dude, I was sleepy. So we took a 1 hour nap, and it kind of hit the spot at the time, and now I'm just even more tired. Today is nap mandatory. It's rainy and cold here in Michigan. Yeah, Sparrow, I don't know how you are, but when I wake up from a nap, I'm either really, really refreshed, or more typically I'm just like, I'm beat. You feel tired message is extra true. Lemon candies, yeah. It's been rainy and cold here for the last 2 weeks now. I think that's gonna be it. Mordican says, I'm in Michigan too. Yep, rainy and cold. Yeah. Super relatable. Mighty Najal. No. What's the fast way to say it? Mighty no. I guess. Says, hey, long time no see. I actually got home in time to catch a live stream for a change. Wishing you all the best from England. I'm gonna lurk and listen as I doze. Have a great evening though. Thank you. Authentication logic working for my local projects, and I've been working on tidying up my UI elements. Right on, Malus. Nya? Nyal. Mighty Nyal. Okay. I swear we probably talked about this before. What in the world? Well, that's definitely a look there, Swanee. Hey, Decappy. All right, so see if I can get in here. Justin Beard, Jasmine and I were looking into Maine a little bit more. Maybe one of these days we'll be up there. I wonder if Simon is around. Check in. Okay. So I'm trying to zone into Shallow Shoals for the first time to see. Hey, what's up, John? All right, here we are. Safe spot in Shallow Shoals. Well, we need a water volume in here, Ollie. Fairly certain we're still using the Unity's volumes to drive a lot of that behavior. See what this looks like full screen. That's interesting phenomenon there. We'll have to consider with water and let's see. Look at you guys saying hi to each other. That is awesome. Justin said Esang told me that he bought a house, by the way. I'm sure he's super happy. Yeah, I hope he comes in here and tells us about it. That'd be cool. What's up, Unchained? Possum says, I don't know if you have touched on it, but I like your response and info on the team's view on character and armor design as it applies to sexualization and keeping the fantasy theme. Well, I appreciate that. You guys can find that in Discord. Yeah, I mean the general view, I think I can concisely state it without like screwing it up so that it becomes, you know, like a bigger topic or whatever. But it's essentially the stance we're taking is that you see most of our designs for both characters and for armor. With regards to character design, if you look at our race page on the website, you look at the concept art, you can see all of our various races, all of our character type have at a minimum some charm, and I say like at a minimum because like the male troll, but almost every character has got some like charismatic or sexy or aspirational or like strong feel to it. So if you look at like the difference between a EverQuest 1 female ogre and our female ogres, they're different, right? So because the vast majority of people want to play a character that looks good, and you know we have a variety of different good types, right? And I think we've done a really good job. Goblin and the guys have done a great job of pulling together a nice variety of different aesthetics and different body types and all that stuff, right? So we cover a nice range there. And then with regards to clothing, yeah, most of our clothing is going to be pretty middle of the road fantasy. We post our concepts, you can see it in an update. And there's going to be, you know, it's going to be commonly kind of practical, but it's not, we are not opposed to the idea of there, you know, our concept art for the Beastmaster. When you look at the class concept art for the Beastmaster that was posted early on, I mean, he's basically, you know, it's what's his face from Fire and Ice in terms of inspiration, right? Like, was it Dark Wolf or? And you know, it's got that like bare-chested, loincloth, savage ass. I think at one point we were even joking about like, you know, painting in a little bit more happy trail on him, right? You know, below the navel. And then if you look at the class, or is it classes? No, maybe it's classes page on the website. You can see, was it I think a female ogre that's in the like Beastmaster aesthetic. Let me look real quick. I'll show you. Man of War style for sure. 80s style high fantasy. Exactly. So monsters. Oh. Interesting. That's actually eating up resources. Oh, see. The monsters and memories. I'm watching something's up. Like, I have to check. Maybe I stop this now. Something weird's going on. What's up, Simon? So I'll let this unload in the background and I'll bring up the web page because my machine's just struggling. Every time I think I can get by without restarting my machine before stream, I run into shit like this. Yeah. So here you've got, and she's similarly dressed, but she's got, you know, she's got a top. But at the end of the day, we're not going to shy away from sexy or sex appeal, and we're not going to shy away from, you know, that old sort of Frazetta, was it Valero? And then naturally, we're even more inspired by like the Caldwells and Elmore and Parkinson style fantasy. So yeah, occasionally we may show some skin. Occasionally there may be a female breastplate that actually got boobed. I know that's, I guess in theory, well, I think that was actually more controversial years ago, not more recently. I think we've gotten over that. You know, deep elf thong action, maybe we don't know. We haven't figured out their newbie outfit yet. But that's one. We're just not. I mean, it's not. We're pretty. I think we're pretty middle of the road there. It's nothing extreme. We're not making you know, a anime style MMO with wacky, as someone said in Discord, like wacky high heels on everything, and everything's a, you know, two-piece bikini. But on the flip side, we're also not going to go out of our way to be like, oh no, yeah, like let's make sure we avoid it completely or whatever. I just think it's odd. Sparrow said, I was always mortified to have to do a corpse run as a half elf in EQ. Oh man. As long as males can also wear a chain kini. I don't know if it'll be a chain kini, but we might get some wrestling undies in there. Thadvik, I'm not sure if that will be a option. For some reason, Sparrow, I didn't remember the the half elves being as bad as the dark elves. Grix asked, on aesthetics, halflings seem to have a 60s, 70s inspired hairstyle, so would it be wrong to give them an amazing pompadour option? We'll have that as a stretch goal, maybe. Ask Zukin really nicely. Hey, Jasmine. Did you take that with you? Good job. Ah, very good job. I don't think anybody saw it, so you don't have to worry about the bullet sign knowing. Is it? I think that part. But I think it's all good. Huh? No, that's imported from the US. I'm not talking about anything crazy, chat, or anybody watching the VOD from the German government. Just it's a little knife that I got for Jasmine for personal protection. Chainmail around your bitch just sounds like a recipe for pinching in disaster. This is true. Can confirm. You really got to get the padding right. Yeah, Dark Elf was worse. Oh yeah, you're right. For opening boxes and things, not for personal protection. Let's see. I request male Dark Elves wearing plate leggings. We're rocking them without chaps. 100% wearing a thong. We're updating the character art, Jasmine. Everybody's gonna be in a thong. Simon, are you out there? Did you I think you saw, right? Like we've got Shallow Shoals up as its own zone. Nicodemus, I think I disagree. And so it sounds like as soon as Bjorn is done with his other stuff that he's working on, texture stuff, then we'll look at he'll be able to rebuild this chunk at the right scale with World Creator and get it in and start, I guess, adjusting it so that it actually looks right. And in the meantime, I guess in theory I could move it over so that we can kind of at least see the position. Right on, Sparrow. Let's do that. But then I think it's all going to be ultimately all yours. There was a question with regards to Lemon Candy's asked, the Shallow Shoals connected directly to the other zones. Is this where the boat in Shaded Dunes takes you? It takes you through here. So this is going to be a zone that is we're going to be working on it a bit. Excuse me. Oh, that was gross. It'll be a zone that you traverse through when you're traveling from Night Harbor through Shaded Dunes, Fallen Pass, and just around that corner. Vale of Zintar, up through Shallow Shoals, and then back into Keeper's Bite. That'll get you up into, that'll basically take you from the desert region of Zur into Califrey. Keeper's Bite, but it's spelled B-I-G-T. Here, I'll spell it for you. GHT, because I can't spell. EIGHT. Anime beach episode. What does that got to do with our thing here? What in the world? Plenty of incredible fantasy anime. Byron is new and very popular right now. I don't think I could ever get Jasmine to watch it with me. And the only time I really have much time to watch, maybe, I don't know, maybe that's something I can pop up on another monitor when I'm working one day. All right. What are a couple ones I should look for and I should pop up on the other monitor? I'll make another tab and I'll start writing them down. All right, so Frieren. Oh, that is an old one. I barely remember that. Let me Delicious in Dungeon. I've been told about it a bunch. That's essentially what Dungeons and Dragons has turned into, right? So, but I hear the anime's good. Delicious in Dungeon. All right, so I've got 3 tabs worth. In theory, that'll get me started. So the hope is with this zone to create something that's got a really, it's got kind of a different feel to it because, well, finally it's another one of our not just desert zones areas, but with the name Shallow Shoals, the hope is for it to feel a little different than a lot of other water zones in that there's a lot of like this very shallow, and this is going to be a trick that Bjorn's going to have to work with Simon on sort of pulling off, is nailing that sense of, like, I think we talked about it one day over here, where we were walking somewhere along here, and it's just, especially with the water, like even this, I would say, kind of too deep right here. Like we're going to bring a lot of this up. so that it's a lot of this type of stuff where an ogre can even just like walk through it. So I'm gonna hit save real quick, then run back in. Would be interesting if tides affected the area, so depending on time of day, more or less, would be available. Aurora, that would be cool. I don't know how we would pull it off, given how our like volumes are set up and things. You know, that might be one of those things that over the years could be one of those features where we're like, you know, the inspiration. Oh wow, look at this performance warning. All these preview scenes. I wonder what that. Fire pop, fire pop. Let me try this off really quick. I'm sorry I'm being so quiet. I'm scrolling up a little bit to see if this has already been addressed. I don't see it immediately. Noticing this in Twitter while in Shallow Shoals. Cool. Posted that. Will we have underwater zone? Yeah, inevitably we'll have underwater, one or more underwater areas. Figuring out areas that are walkable versus swimmable. Does character's height come into play? Yep, it does come into play. So the little races will be swimming a lot here. Still, the human kind of mid-size races, it'll be dependent on kind of which sandbars are running across and stuff, and then ogres, it'll be a little bit more forgiving. Ogres carrying gnomes may be a help. When we get little boats in, maybe the little guys can get in little canoes and trail along. Because there's a plan for that. How's my posture? You guys aren't telling me. We still good? Gnome Paladin with Ogre Palanquin is peak fantasy. Did you see that, like, one of the first 3P pieces that we posted? Where the gnomish caster is sitting on the ogre's shoulder? It's you should be able to see it in Discord. Here, let's see if I can bring it up. It's one of the first ones we put out. I'm scrolling up right now to find it. So far up there. This one. Will we sell prints of the concept art? Yeah, for sure. Once the shop comes online, we'll have a ton of this stuff available to order the prints of and prints on different things and stuff. So I am underwater, I guess. It's terrifying to me. Can you see various points of interest from other zones? Does this factor into our designs at all? Yeah, absolutely. We're pretty deliberate on designing lines of sight so that you can see other zones. And really, even though it's a zone-based world, we want the world to feel as contiguous as possible. And one of the other things about being able to like display points of interest, you know, other zones, POIs and stuff, in adjacent zones, or in one case, I think you can actually see from one zone across the entire other zone into the next zone. Like that's it's just, it also serves as a reminder that those points of interest aren't just specific to a zone. They're points of interest in a region, or they're part of the world, that type of thing, right? It just, and because it's in a different zone, we can do some things that are a little bit of smoke and mirrors to kind of like make them even more standoutish or fantastic or interesting than maybe they will be when you get right up on them or in them or something. I don't want to say it in a way that feels too like, you know, I'm not trying to say that it's not as cool, but maybe you get what I mean. Cast Ogre Illusion. All right, so see, ogre running through water like this. Like this variety is kind of fun as well in a zone like this. You know, because ogre will actually be able to run, and then you got gnomes that are having to swim beside them, which just like reiterates the difference in size, and it doesn't treat it like you can see that, you know, the sort of subtle psychology behind it is when you're in a water zone like this and the water is only knee deep to an ogre, of course he shouldn't have to swim. What we're not doing is going in a gamey way. If player character in water, then swim, right? It's, you know, it's trying to, it's not like it's much more complex than that, but it's trying to essentially reiterate like an ogre is an ogre. It's not just a player character model. A gnome is a gnome, and that's why the gnome's got to swim when the ogre can walk. So it's that kind of thing, right? So, will floating swimming have any effect on melee abilities like slower attacks? Not that I know of. I don't know. I don't think we would have any plans for that. But who knows? There might be a justification for it later. And wow, a gnome can drown in a place where a torrent just stands. See? Yep, that's perfect. Right? Being Fall and Watch from New Yard's awesome. It's funny that that has been in the game in some form or another for so long. Will levitation spells be a thing? Yeah, there'll be a variety of like durations and utility and all that stuff. But we want it to be something that's a little bit less binary. So it's not one of those things where everybody just immediately has Lev and then all of this environmental stuff doesn't matter anymore. So Spirit of Ego, can it be Spirit of Sparrow? I bet if you ask Nick really nice, it could be. It's a nice sounding name. Hey, Primus. Yeah, so can you see in the periphery? I wonder if we can push the clip plane out a bit here. And one of the other fun things about having like these multi-zone points of interest is just the fact that you can orient yourself around, you know, you'll get a sense of where you are relative to just the other zones that you've been in, right? Any plans to show out-of-zone POIs for unused zones for launch, but leave it open for expansion patch? We already are. We already are. You guys are already looking at some. That's part of why, I mean, we've designed a much bigger world than we could probably make even if we were funded. And by design, I don't want to like I'm not going to bullshit you guys. Like we haven't, there's all the lore's not written up or whatever, but we started with a really big map and then kind of use that to get a rough idea, even if it's not all written down. I don't know, at least I've got a rough idea of what these areas would be, both for the deep and the surface areas of Aetheral. And then, so for some of that, you'll see that there are, you know, potentially areas that maybe future zone interest is. You can see some of the POIs in different areas in the distance, stuff like that. So. You know, the hope is that if things go well and you guys like the game and you stick with us and we've got enough of you around, one of the things that I think is cool, at least, and who knows, we may change this philosophy over the time. The team may have a different view on it. You may have a different view on it, and we'll you know, learn from that. But the idea of, like, if we do well enough, and it looks like this is something you guys want to see for years to come, then having ideas for how much deeper and denser this just sort of chunk of the world is, like the continent of Aetheral and the deep zones you know, below it, means that we can, instead of like later on grasping and going, oh, we need to go over here and coming up with all these wildly different places for expansions and stuff, we can actually take it and start to add in more and more of those things. And if we do that, we may find that we may have 2 adjacent zones that you get used to. And I do think that it may be worthwhile for us at some points, every once in a while, if necessary, to kind of get the world to feel the way we originally wanted it to. We might insert a zone between those 2 zones or something, right? There may be a little bit of a shake-up, but we're not going to do like a revamp where we change the art style or any of that shit. As part of that, it would be consistent with our world. It would just be something that we had wanted to do before, but we cut it, and so we expand. Yeah, and we definitely have the spirals and the umbra and the other planes. There's lots of gods, lots of planes. There's lots of spirals. There's a lot. There's a lot for us to crib off of. Not crib off of, I guess, just to explore. All right. Hey, if you guys would like, here is the first sunrise I think I've seen, and definitely on stream, from this future zone out here. So keep in mind, this is 100% placeholder. Like, basically, this is us just getting started on this zone, so things are definitely going to change. Wallabus asked, does module equal expansion, as in one-for-one implication? Module is essentially a multi-zone, or maybe, I guess in theory it could be one zone, but it's just, is it expansion? I don't know. Maybe we reserve the name expansion for like some big ass content release, but our first module, so in that sense kind of expansion, is already planned, and we want to get it in production before we go live with early access, so that we can get it ready, so that you're not waiting too long after the game goes live. And that is the, I think we've got 5 zones there. So, expansion, I guess, could be, in traditional sense, would be what, 10, 15, 20 zones. So take it how you will. Hey, Dargeth. Hey, Scruffy Bard. Dozakar. Liz Biscuits. I saw you, and I meant to say hello, and I just kept rambling. Another reason, even though this isn't going to be the case for like every race, is hopefully, at least for a number of races, humans and up, it'll be a very watery zone, but a lot of opportunity to run to different places. Maybe too early to ask, but will the Dark Elf City have a leveling 1 to 60 like Night Harbor? The Deep Elf racial city at the launch of the city will not provide 1 through 60. Night Harbor is pretty unique in that regard because it's huge. It will be designed in a way, though, where there will be more opportunity for us to add content or unlock content over time. And that is a great point that I need to make a note on our Wood Elf City design page. Hold on one second. We're gathering all this stuff, gathering notes, going through some stuff. I'm glad you asked. Thanks, Vumbra. That was helpful. Has there been discussion on how many zones Module 1 would ask? No, we've got it figured out. It's not a discussion for later. We've got those zones on the schedule. It's currently 5 zones. We can do more, great. If we don't, then if we can't, then all right. Great lighting on the water here. Nick and Ali have been sitting there tweaking water reflections for days. Okay, maybe not days, but I think when I woke up this morning they were doing it. Would like to see expansions that don't increase player level. Yeah, so that's what I mean by like more just adding to the depth of the world and not necessarily just adding, you know, more levels and strange areas. Let me put a note somewhere here. Sorry, I'm taking a note. I'm writing a note really quick, so I'm being quiet. What in the world? Sorry if you're hearing any noise in the background. Things to kill. Cool. All right. That took me way longer than it showed to get the note written, but it was worthwhile. New expansions are new places to explore, but also the option to start new characters. I know a lot of people wouldn't be interested in starting a whole new character, but I find it a lot of fun for new storytelling. Yeah, and you know what I'm saying doesn't preclude the option for us to add a module that interesting. Add a module that includes like a new race over time. We've already talked about new race class combos and some of what we can do there to unlock those over time. But the goal would be to just avoid like pulling everybody away from the existing continent in existing cities and really start to like subdivide the community in a way where you know, the more you're sort of going along the expansions, the more you're getting away from the old world. I really don't want to make that mistake again with this game. I'm getting a little bit closer now to take a look at currently where things are kind of rendering out and not. I don't know which island I'm on at the moment, Simon, but if you look here, see how I've pulled this forward, and I may actually check this in. I'm assuming nobody's got Shallow Shoals out at the moment. Where am I? I'm there. Okay. So let me go to the closest of the islands. I'm here. What is up, Darton? It's kind of cool seeing that lane there. I don't know if you can see it, Simon, with this selection. So, it you know, in theory that works pretty well, especially then if we get the height figured out properly for, you know, like the shallowness here, then it winds up being pretty, makes sense. Here, I'll take a screen grab of this really quick. Oops. Binding conflicts. I think we could probably, I'll get a, first let me get a snap of this. I think we could elongate this path a bit because it's very kind of V-shaped at the moment. I think to help us stretch out Shallow Shoals along Keeper's Bite. I think what we can do is alter this path from Brian's original path a bit. So I'll take a screen grab. Yeah, Dargith. It's a new zone that we're in. So I've got a copy of that now. Because kind of bottom of the screen is not glass flats. It is Vale of Zentar. where we've been in the last week or so with the giants. Matter of fact, right there in that little corner right there, that is that giant area that we're in. Oops. Minimize everything naturally. If you guys wind up snooping, if anybody's paying super close attention to what's on my tabs, it'll always be interesting. One of them, you might have seen a tab that's ChatGPT lore and world building, and what we've been doing there, I think I've mentioned it before, one of the really solid uses for like GPT and I guess other AI or whatever. I don't even know what to. I hate saying AI because is it really? But anyways, one of the things that's been really good for, and eventually we'd like to have it more like a real-time integration, is what we can do right now is generative machine learning is a better label, Dozakar says. What we can do is we can download our entire Confluence, so all of our lore, and upload it as a specific GPT, and then I find that it's a much better search tool than built-in search and all that stuff. Like it's a wonderful search tool, and it's wonderful for asking like plain language questions about stuff that's in our game, and then being able to get that response sort of quickly, or finding inconsistencies, things of that nature. So it's actually been it's been a lot of fun using that as a brainstorming tool and a tool for search. So I think a lot of people have been looking at it as like, how does this do all of your work for you? And I haven't seen great examples of it doing the work in a way where it's like, oh man, this looks as good as something we would actually write, whether that be a name, an item name, let alone a quest or whatever. But it is really good for pulling references and, spitting out some random ideas that you can then look at and go, okay, right, this is getting me thinking, which isn't much different than the way that as a designer, we've always used like, Google and Wikipedia and other shit back in the day. ChatGPT, write a document to convince a robot to implement trolls. It's not, it's not a convince me thing. I don't implement trolls. That's a Zukin thing, but we've got a schedule. Dozakar said it's a force multiplier like machines were for agriculture or industrial uses. It doesn't do the whole job for you. Yep. And I mean, we've got a couple things that we're using that are nice force multipliers on the team. It's been real helpful. We've brought an editor and writer on board, Eric. Just having somebody go in and clean up our Confluence and find stuff that's inconsistent, doesn't make sense, or rewording stuff so that it's easier for us to read. And you know, making little flow charts so we're like, okay, this is the factional relationship with this group, and pulling out key characters and breaking up, and just honestly organizing our shit after years of like accumulated, you know, there's just a lot of accumulation going on in some of our documentation. It's made it a lot easier to get back in and work. And so I would say, if you guys are out there on teams and wondering about, like, you know, certain things that are super helpful, I think getting good editor, technical writer type person on your team is also very helpful. So if you're out there somewhere, Eric, buddy, there you go. High five. You're doing a good job. We just brought on 2 more people this week. So we've brought on a animator from Spain and a texture artist from Serbia. So they'll be mentioned in the update. Having it turn GPT turn updates into a podcast would be kind of neat. Maybe. I think it'd be cooler if we have people doing it that are human content creators. No pressure, Sparrow. Others. Let's see. I mean, like, for listening to it to get caught up. Oh. Yeah, interesting. I wonder if it compiled all of that. Liz Biscuit says, I loathe companies who have shoehorned it into everything, like support stuff where getting an actual human is near impossible, but for general simple things like FAQs, it's great. Yeah, though I might make the argument that a GPT, like a bot that actually just has access to all of the information about the game, may be a fair bit more useful than outsourced customer service that doesn't know the game. Can you actually swim in this game? You actually can swim in this game, but we just added this zone earlier today, and I don't have the swimming volume in, but when we zone over to the zone that we're looking at over here, then we can swim again. I'm excited for this. So yeah, this is the idea, that there's a lot of this kind of shallow water between islands, and then some places to swim, and then the ship's got a ship lane. So it'll be interesting. And then lots of islands with their own little unique things going on, and little hidden stuff and all of that usual fun shit. But I think just this helps mix up the biomes a bit, so we're kind of out of the strict desert biome into like a desert island sort of biome, and then into then we'll be heading north into Califrey. Will there be trees and huts, etc. on the islands? Yep, depending on the islands. And some of the islands will have, you know, all the islands will have a lot more geo. Right now, this is just like super placeholder, getting it laid out and getting the scope, scale, everything figured out. And then we'll start to fancify them. Thanks, Jasmine. Jasmine fixed my winter coat. He's a fixer. Sinister Deeds, have you been watching us while we've been in this other zone over here? Vale of Zentar? We're about to go back over there. Okay, we're gonna go over there in a minute. I wanted to take a look and see what the shoreline looks like from these closer islands. And I don't know. Simon, are you checking this out? Check it out. Or as you would say where you're from, checking it out. No, babe, thanks for fixing the zipper. I wasn't trying to pretend like it was broken to get a new coat. But I appreciate it, Sugar Mama. Oh no, yeah, a can of paint fell on it. The spirit of the fish. That's not a bad idea. All right, well, check out another sunrise over here. We can do more with like mist and stuff in this one. I like the starting point that we've got here. I like the blues and stuff. Will Shallow Shoals be accessible in the November 30th test, even as a bare bones version? I don't know, maybe. Quite possibly. Though it would be a bummer to have it be available and have nothing in here to kill you. So put in some level 60 rats. Oh my gosh, shadow sharks. Invisible sharks. I guess we can't have a shadow shark if we don't have a shark model. Level 60 capsules. If there are sharks in this zone, I have real problems adventuring here. 90s kid traumatized by jaws. Hey, I hear you. Eventually we'll have sharks. We won't have sharks anytime soon. But we could maybe throw in some like really gnarly crocodiles. Just taking some screens for the guys. Stingrays would be great. Oh man, Stingray would be a good one to maybe add to the model list. Because you can have them fly as well. Put them in some deep zone. Tirelate says it's always fun to imagine hydras, sea serpents, and maybe krakens. Fun if they're not chomping on you. Other moon's just not very prominent tonight. Red Jerome says, nice looking nighttime in game. Hey, thanks and welcome. All right, so I think we're probably pretty good in here for now. We can go back over to the zone that we're looking at. Essentially, here in the here on the horizon, we'll zone to Vale of Mentor. Kraken RP is so cool. I hope it shows. Hope one shows up in Twilight Bay. You really don't want that particular Kraken to show up anywhere. Love that idea, flying deep stingrays. I kind of stole that flying stingray idea from the last game I worked on, Star Stable Online, the online horse adventure game for girls. They had some flying stingrays in their parallel dimension. See you, Sparrow. Have a good one. That particular Kraken. So wait, that specific Kraken has lore? Yeah, it does. Has some fun lore. So those of you that are new here, we're running around in a zone that's in progress. It's still being worked on. How many zones are you guys currently working on? We've got, I mean, everything's being worked on to some degree, so a bunch. That's not a helpful answer, is it? Hey, Isan, what's up, dude? You gonna tell us about your new place? Never noticed the water reflections on the sand before? Oh, there's yeah, and usually the water's a little bit murkier, so they stand out even more. Chip's actually done a cool thing where in the deep we can have water reflections on the ceiling. Vespa's name is actually Vespira. She is no longer an Italian scooter. Let's go check out some Collision. I think Chinny D modified some Collision. Esan said, dude, it's a sweet gamer streamer house for sure. Nested in Augusta. Great neighborhood. Future rental property for my kid. Closed in 26 days. It's in underwriting right now. They told me to chill out. Excited for you, brother. I was telling folks here that Maine's looking pretty cool to us. We may check it out one of these days. Water reflection on the stalagmites and stalactites. Yep, in the ceiling. I mean, I'm assuming I've only seen it applied to a ceiling. I'm assuming it can do the various stalags. Vespa is your cousin's name? It's a good name. Got the flannel, it fit right in. Yeah, I mean, Maine seems really great. What's going on? The guys are dancing. Wonder if this is due to some recent change. If they had music, it would be great. Eason said, thank you, quite the journey getting here. December will be my 30th year exactly paying rent. Last rent check, ironically. Yeah, man, congrats again. It just sounds fantastic for you guys. Giant bards confirmed. That would be something. You'd have no problem hearing them. Let me go see if they're all doing this. Sure enough. For those of you that weren't here the last little bit, we're doing a lot of stuff with scale in this area where these giant camps are, so it's just kind of fun to play around. I'm gonna check out some of the props. I think Chinny D updated Collision on them. If you go to Maine, we'll be sort of neighbors to John and I. I think there's a number of people up in that region. Quick sign, you'll have to go back and check it out one day. Get out. Red Jerome says, I like the look of the game, stylized art, like what old WoW had, is ageless. Oh, appreciate it. Yeah, we're doing, so there's still a lot of stuff that's going to come online, so you're looking at a fair amount of like placeholder textures in the environment, and there's some tech that's still coming online for lighting that's going to be fun for us. I was wondering if you had done that. It looks like you did. Angled collision, that's nice. Allow for some potential exploit. Some exploration. Exploration. Could use gnomes as bait to catch those fish. Little worms on a hook. So do all the 10 nodes fall out of the giant's pockets? Give more resource than the smaller nodes we mine? Maybe. I'll let you figure that one out. Chinny, do you see how much fun I'm having? Looks like the sand's too hot for their feet. Yeah, I'll go see if it's just the giants in a minute. If it's just the giants here. If it's all NPCs. Might have something to do with maybe the change that Chip was mentioning. What would you call this dance? Chinny said, I like running up the fishing poles. Oh man. You're ahead of me. Move it like Bernie? Would this lead to the sand giants? Or maybe more. Doing a little bouncing knee bend dance while standing still. Cool. Oh, yeah, you're right. And they appear to be bouncing, not bouncing, floating off the ground a bit. Thanks, Quixana. Oh, sorry, Lisava. Oh, wait. Ah, okay, Chip's in here as I was typing. Sorry, Chip. Just saw you're in chat. Hey, Dark Inside. That might be the foot IK stuff. Okay, is that in a what's new above that? Chip, I appreciate your effort earlier, by the way. You've got to help me you've got to help me champion that name for our tech. We got to have branded tech, and that's got to be the name. I'm not seeing any reference to IK. That should be the spelling, Lemon. Okay, I was looking to see if the Giants are getting impatient. They want players to punch. Yeah. Right, so Chinny has already teased us with the oh, all right, fishing pole challenge. I've got to dark inside. I've got to finish like customizing the giants. The way they're set up, we can actually change the color of their outfits. These guys will all stay pretty similar in terms of outfit color, but like the outfits, we can give them beards, mustaches, hats, change the color of their beards. So I've got to finish getting them set up. Yes, breasts. I mean beards. Freudian slip there, buddy. I could cosplay a Maynard pretty good. Well, I just have to dust off the Stephen King book so I can know all the local sort of sayings and stuff. Monocles for the giants? Save the monocles for giant gnomes? Okay. I sent you a house to look at. Only $2.99 million. Yeah. A little rich for my blood, buddy. Imagine a raid boss that's a giant gnome. Hasn't that already been done somewhere? So I'm checking out the collision that's been added. We should fix those. We'll adjust those volumes. So we'll do that sort of stuff in a minute. Maybe we'll adjust a couple of the volumes. We'll eventually fix these little mountain chunk objects. I think they need to be flagged properly or something so that the mobs don't get stuck up there. I know what the giant dance is now. It's the Oompa Loompa dance. Oompa Loompa. That one. Yeah, hill giants are going to be fun. The various giants are going to be fun. How much platinum do these hill giants drop? Well, they're sand giants. Please identify them correctly. And they... I guess you'll have to see. Dude, it's so funny with them bouncing at the moment. Bounce with it. Where are the Tuscan Raiders? We couldn't get the rights. Very expensive. Viper said, I killed a gnome once by mistake. Poor little Lobby running through Calithan. I cast Sow on him and it landed as he hit a bridge and he fell off and died. Oh man, sad days for sure. Poor dude. Awesome. Thanks, Chinny. This is great. These props are typically so small that you don't interact with them in this way. And so they had big collision boxes here, so we couldn't get under the table and stuff the other day when we were playing around. And so Chinny came in and cleaned them up for us, which is nice. Cast. Human illusion. Oops. Double jumping again for some reason. Right on. It looks like you added collision and well, perfect. Super. Can we get a stealth bonus to giants if we are under the table? Don't think our aggro works that way. I love floating giants. It's a feature. Oh well. Thought maybe I could get up there. It would be so great if there's just like some happy song playing in the background right now that fit this. Right on. Need a giant bouncing meme. Cool. All right. So let's look at a couple things while we're in here. If there's not a quest to steal something from a giant camp, I will be sad. We'll eventually get some interactions into the giant camp. Spoiler. Absolutely love the look of these giants. Grimlust, hey, thank you. They when Goblin was concepting them, the look of these guys just it really clicked. So we got they can have a hat, no hat, they got a beard or just the mustache. I want to give the king of the giants, I want to give him like a red beard. There's some great beard colors. Here, I think I might even have the page open still. I don't think it's too spoilery. I'll double check and make sure I'm not revealing any of our secrets. Where is it? I didn't close it. I didn't think I closed it because I want to use it still. There it is. Base features. So we got kind of like that look. Looks like he's give him this with a bit of a red in it. It looks like some of the wrestlers come out of the East Caucasus. Actually, he kind of have the look of that one new dude in the UFC, that really good striker. Russian guy, I think. Nice mustache. And then we got the different colors. Actually, maybe I'll go with the more of the older gray look. Not Hamzat. Hamzat rocks that style of like no mustache beard as well, but I'm thinking of the one striker. Hamzat's more of a wrestler. His name is Bullet something. Vasava, I was thinking red beard. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna keep red beard for the king, but then the grand vizier, or what is it? Vizier? Vizier? Shit. The dude, the caster dude down in the tent with the skull. He will maybe he'll go with the gray look. Bullet, Russian, UFC, not Valen. Sharabutin Magmedov. This guy. He's got that red beard. Is he heavyweight? For some reason, I didn't think he was. Middleweight. But I think he can only fight in international. He's born in Dagestan. He can only fight in international competition, I think, because he's blind in one eye. And I don't know if the various bodies will sanction him to fight in the U.S. So yeah, that guy's beard stands out to me. All right, so we're here now. Let's make some adjustments. Will there be djinns around? There will be in this region and others, but definitely in this region. There's a whole bunch of there's a whole thing with them. There's a whole big factional thing that you guys don't know about. Posture check. Let me check my posture. That thing is not staying very tight. I'll definitely have to make some adjustments when I clean up my workstation. The Baharan humans are said to have connections to the jinn. Where did you read that? In one of the splash screen lore bits, or? Cool. Where did you get your information? So I'm going to bring up the spawn volumes. and make some adjustments here. Do the Giants have dinner, or do they call it supper? Swanee, we've got enough of that kind of humor already. Gin and tonic. Man, you're going for the low-hanging fruit on that one, huh? Somebody was talking about Deep Dunes earlier. I guess maybe mentioning it to somebody new. Yeah, that's going to be an exciting zone to get back into before EA. Got some fun plans for that zone. Ginger ale and whiskey. Oh man, eating around. Imagine a Jin granting 3 wishes to a player that finds a hidden bottle. Sounds like a fun GM event. There's a YouTube channel called Mysterious Middle East where they have a lot of episodes on Jin and whatnot. Interesting stuff. Yeah, it is a fantastic resource. There's some great stuff on like just the various lore and dust devils, all sorts of cool shit. I'm a fan. Yeah, apologies. I didn't restart my machine again before streaming, so things are pretty freaking laggy right now. I really need to be a little more professional about that. Look at that. Can't move at the moment. The thing is, I don't notice it all day because I'm not streaming. And so I'll just, you know, I'm not seeing any sort of any lag like this. Nothing like this. And then I start streaming and my machine just is not. It's not at a point where I can just not pay attention to shit like that. So I'm like, all right, I just kind of work up until it's time to stream. Or typically like work and eat dinner, get ready for a stream or whatever. Not actually, I was so sleepy I hopped in the shower before stream. And so I don't necessarily think to restart the machine because I also don't necessarily treat I don't treat, you know, our time together, our streams is like some weird, oh, it's a production where I've got to like, you know, put on my coat and tie and be on my best behavior and shit. I'm basically just working. And it's like, oh, it's stream night. Time to flip the switch and keep working, but with you guys, right? So but it's typically different work. The reason why you'll see us like in the same zone over and over again on various VODs or on streams is just because I mean, one of the factors is there's a lot of work that we do during the day that's either you know, discussing like design or there's documentation and stuff like that involved. And it's stuff that I can't do on stream. And so then I'll just leave something like coming in here, adjusting spawners or whatever for the. Wow, this is a big volume, I think. Is this it? Whoa, that is a volume. That's a big volume. Wow. Goodness gracious. Yeah, we're gonna break this volume up a little bit. Whistling. All right, and what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna. That's giants. Lemon said have confirmed it's a loading screen tip and alluded to on the races page. All right, cool. Then it's not a spoiler. It's not a spoiler. Let me see if I do something real quick, if it helps. It addresses at least one thing that's been going on. Let me do this. And hit save. Can you reach top of those rocks? Levy run across the zone would be fun. I don't think anything's preventing you. Mother of all volumes. Nicodemus, are you responsible for the giant statue in the oasis? Ingleheads, thank you for the follow. Ingleheads, you're not? Interesting. I wonder what that's about. Are you German or is that just a German sounding name? Right. I'm curious if this continues after I reload zone. Okay, I was just curious. I was gonna ask. I was gonna say, hallo, was ist los mit deinem Name? Bist du Deutsch oder? But then that may not make any sense if you're not German. Nope, his ass is immediately back up there. I am responsible for the bubbles. Okay. I've run through there. I haven't seen them yet. Oh. Nope, there's guys just walking up the rock anyway. Okay, that didn't do anything to help, so that doesn't matter. It's all good. So let's break up this volume a bit. I'm gonna kill the zone. In theory. Cool. And then we'll just go back in, because it'll run a little bit smoother. We'll just go back into the zone instead. Ich lerne Deutsch. Sehr gut. Wo lernst du Deutsch? Im Schule oder online oder was ist? Wo genau machst du deine Übung? Duolingo? Oh, that reminds me. I gotta do my Duolingo before the day's over. I think I already lost my streak. Let me check. While this is loading, let me check my Duolingo. But I do think I've lost my streak. I just started a new streak and I think I've already blown it. Refill your streak for 200. Now I'll just restart the challenge, dummies. I'm only in day 1. Let me know if you could hear this. Let's get a fun word though.
Sun. Sun. Sun.
Oh no. I'm trying to learn Turkish. There were no cool words immediately up. I was trying to show off Turkish because it's got a kind of a cool sound to it. See you, Quicksana. Turkish is gut. Yeah. Subscene loader. Ramby says, I used Duolingo to learn Japanese one time. Then I stopped because learning through apps and textbooks isn't a good idea because there's a lot of outdated stuff, makes you sound unnatural. But did it give you enough to get started where if you were using some other methodology? Oh, really? We playing that game now? This happens every once in a while, and I'm not quite sure how to repro it. Let me see if I can select any spawn points. Anything related to spawn points. Nope. I may need to restart my editor then. Womp womp womp. Disable. Enable. See what happens. Did anyone mention the Scuffed Game Awards nominations? Eminem's nominated 4 times this year. If you haven't voted, please vote. Yeah, it's mentioned in Discord, but if you've got a link, feel free to post it here. Think any language is best learned from local users? It's true. Okay, we're good. We're back on. Thanks, Nick. Cool. And I think we've got an opportunity to... Do we got some spawners? Yeah, so it goes 3 to 45. So that gives us some room to break some stuff up here. But we're just going to reuse essentially all the information from this guy, but we're just going to break it into smaller pieces. That we can kind of shape it around some different things that are going on. Zone spawns, just to confirm, double check. Yeah, it's true. High level roamers, mid high level roamers, cool. So I tell you what, is there anything in particular you guys would like to do on Friday? I can prepare. I've got 2 days. Tomorrow's Thursday, stream again on Friday. Is there a stream that you guys would like to cover? Because like I said, you know, apologies. I don't typically come in here with like a master plan most times. It's just, you know, I save some work like this kind of work to do on stream with you guys, but then you wind up seeing a lot of the same type of work and shit. So, you know, to me, this is, it's cool to be able to do it. And it's cool to hang out and all that stuff, but it's not like, there's not a super big plan going into it, as you might have noticed. So is anything you want to do on Friday? No's a fine answer as well. That's cool, man. Team meeting for brainstorming? Kind of hard to pull the team together, but I mean, we might be able to get a few guys. What would we want to brainstorm? JK? Okay. Always enjoy the zone pop work days. Cool. Maybe we just go ahead and make a lane out of this. You meant chat team? What does that mean? Oh, you mean us here, us, everybody in the guild here. Everybody in the guild chat. Okay, I get what you're saying, man. I get it now. I get what you're going for, dude. We've done this once or twice before. We've done it more than that even. Is there another volume here? What's this volume? What is the source of the volume, I guess? Uh-huh. I think I know what that is. I'm not going to click on that. If I had to guess, I know what that is. Cool. Cool. What do you want to brainstorm, chat? What would you like to talk about on Friday? Tree biome? We could. We could do that. We could talk about the tree biome. Will the rat people get to be bards, rogues, and necromancers? What rat people? That is it. That's a pretty cute emoji though. Or emote, sorry. Ideas for crafting and trade skills. Okay, so we've got 2 topics. I'm not... All the gnome violence, man, you guys. Y'all need to chill. Always trying to pick on gnomes. Brainstorm a new NPC to add to Night Harbor. What kind of NPC are you thinking? That's it for the brainstorm? Okay. That's for the brainstorm to figure out. Oh, I see what you're saying. With your vid and that bits with your vid with the bits and bob guy made me think that maybe you should have some different things for starting off. Maybe brainstorm that. Some different things for starting off. Maybe one of these days we'll have rap people that you can play. Maybe. Best practices doing bass pop, do's and don'ts. I think I've given my very limited best practices before. My limited set of best practices. What if you answered some questions when creating character a la Elder Scrolls and you ended up in a different place to start? Like you're saying in the middle of the desert. Oh man, I don't know how we would honestly pull that off very well. Seems like a lot of extra work only for people to get frustrated with us. 125. Alright, I can keep that. 125. There are rat people mobs? Yes. Rat people in this game, we've got some concepts for them. Have you checked out our updates? If you go to our website and look at updates, the updates have a ton of concept art in it. So, like monsters and memories update. So every update's got a bunch of concept art. And shows like the latest characters and all that stuff. So with that said, there's a bunch of stuff that you won't necessarily see if you're just following the stream or if you're just in game. And as was mentioned, either this update or the one before it has some concept for wonderful rat dudes. That'd be the one before it, I believe. Yeah. Like this is the zone we're currently in, actually. See the giants. Let's find those rat guys for you. Here we go. That guy's currently in production this very moment. He is being worked on right now. Yeah, the mouse with the sword's also extremely cute. Box volume, let's go ahead and do like 200 by 50. Whoever recommended the show Silo the other day, Jasmine and I watched them. Like we watched all of it, the first season and the first episode of second season. And I've got to say, I mean, you know, are you a bad person for enjoying it more than Fallout? Yes. Yes, Chip. I hate to say it. I do judge you a little bit based on that. Oh, shit. I feel bad now, but I can't lie. I don't like lying. I'm not a fan of lying, so I'm just gonna say it outright. I'm not. I mean, we all like different things, buddy. So I'm not. What didn't I like about Silo? You know what? I don't want to pick on it too much because like Jasmine enjoyed it well enough. I think folks can enjoy it if you're just watching it for some silly fun. Don't take it too serious. Don't try to poke holes in anything that's going on. Don't ask too many questions. Just go with it. Just go with it. A little bit of a bait and switch with the casting. You'll see that. You'll know what I mean. Little bait and switch happens there. I don't know. I think I'm just judging. I'm judging television with too high of a standard. I could tell my wife was getting frustrated with me. She was like, just let me enjoy this, please. I'm enjoying it well enough. I'm like, all right, that's cool. She didn't say that, but I could definitely tell. I just yeah, Foundation was recommended. I tried like we tried the first episode of the Dune TV show. Actually, Eating Around, it is my jam overall. It's dystopian. The setting is really cool. I'll tell you what I like about Silo. How about that? The setting is really cool. The plot is a bit I was wondering if it's going to be like two sort of mystery box, never really explained, blah blah blah. But they did a decent enough job of by the time the season was over, they answered some questions. That's good. All right, so how big is this? 1,000 by 700. Okay, I can stop screwing around with this. So 1,000 by 700, or 1,000 at least, and then this is wide enough. There's Silo books. Eating Around. I didn't even stop to see whether or not it was a book series or anything. Anyways, they've got some decent actors in her. I'm gonna say I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of the eventual protagonist. I'm like, meh, kind of a little bit of a. There are a number of episodes where I'm like, this didn't need to be an episode, like I'm gonna use something that's totally not in the series, like protagonist dodging boulders for 20 minutes, right? That's not in there, but like, can you imagine? It's like, all right, we get it. There's an action sequence. Okay, like, or, you know, we've got to resolve this immediate sort of like conflict thing, and it's like it's so drawn out, and you're like, you know, nothing bad's going to happen because it's here. I'll use it. See Unchained. So if the basic premise is like, if we don't fix the MacGuffin, everybody's gonna die. Well, guys, it's episode 3, or it's episode 6 out of like 10 episodes and 2 seasons. Obviously, everybody's not gonna die. So then the question is this something where we're gonna see consequences? And then there's really also not any consequences. So it's like, I at least like a show like you know, Game of Thrones or Penguin or something where, all right, something happens and boom, folks are dead. I will say that Silo does have a little bit of that, and so I can't knock it completely, but it was just, I don't know. Oh, I forgot to put the wander on this as well. So yeah, I mean, I'm trying to express why I didn't find it to be great without providing any spoilers, and I'm finding that difficult. I will say Penguin has been the best show I've seen in a while. Enjoyed Silo, but I found some of this is how this world works difficult to buy into. I mean, that was, I think that's a great concise way of expressing one of the things that really got me. Was it's a cool world, but you can see there wasn't a ton of thought put into like, why would this actually be this way if you're saying that this is how this world works. Like if you've got this silo that's, you know, where everybody's crammed into for 140 years, why would you not have this but then have that? Right? It's like at one point they alluded to paper being super rare. Like, I've never seen that much paper in one place. And then in another episode, they show that the couriers that run everywhere deliver like telegrams on paper. So not like a chalkboard or something where then they wipe it afterwards or something. But then there's a guy, I guess because he doesn't have access to a ton of paper, does a thing each night. But then he does it on like a chalkboard or a wax tablet or something so that he can reuse it. Right? It's stuff like that that bugs the shit out of me. Because we're just making a silly like indie MMO game with no budget. And you guys will call bullshit on us for stuff like that all the time. But this show with the budget's going to be like, yeah, well, we didn't put that much thought into it. Why not? Why did that? Come on, man. There's some interesting things in how they say that their world, the rules, they've got like explicit rules for their world, right? Like there's a code that they all got to follow. It's like their religion. And that they use it to answer some things like, why don't you just have like an elevator or a pulley system? But not really to my satisfaction. Again, it feels a bit mystery box in how it does it. Which I'm all about some soft world building. You don't have to explain everything. I get it. Might cop out for things as well, but If Star Trek fans will count Dax's spot, you bet decent fans will be mad at inconsistency. I think the problem will be that they won't become decent fans. They might become fans, but they're not going to be like hardcore, right? Because I don't know that people will get that invested in something that's not got the depth for them to defend. It sounds like paper is rare because the couriers have it all. There you go. Found Walking Dead super inconsistent to the point that it bothered me. Was that always the case, or did you feel like it became more of that later on? Because it felt like it just started doing that worse and worse and worse over time. Like, show started out, loved it. I had read the comics, a lot of them. Had like a stack of the graphic novels, and then when Walking Dead got closer to the comic, it got worse. So, just putting the Wanderin volumes on these. Those of you just tuning in, breaking up this volume so that we've got a little bit more control over where things are spawning and walking. I don't know what the right density is. This big volume before was at 125, and that felt pretty good. So how do we subdivide this? I think I've got 40 there. I need to actually remember to, let's try. I'm working on a giant task. That's funny. Very funny, buddy. We'll start here and we'll just kind of adjust as we go. Let's see. This in, turn it sideways, diagonal. Oh, that's probably gonna run off width now. 500. Oops, I'm still in the original. 500. So how many people will actually be able to make it to the plate or the stress test on the 30th? I know a lot of people have holiday plans and things like that. Alright, so far it looks like the majority of you. Cool. We're starting to have me a little worried with the holiday and everything. Sorry to hear that you keep getting pulled into work. We'll have more. 25 and do 20 here. On. Oops. Did it actually create a spawn? We'll only get 1 to 2 hours at best for the test. Taking the kids to see local Christmas light turn on that evening. Oh, that sounds fantastic. Good for you. That seems like a very worthwhile reason to not be able to make it. May wind up changing this up just to be some relatively static. Not static, but like essentially more of a camp. But for now, this will work. Oh crap! Time's actually flown. It's 10:44 here. That's cool. So links 700. Hey, not bad. Wow. All right. Public crate XP. We've got the ability for you to make little stash boxes that you can put in the world. Is the upcoming test only 4 hours, or is there a possibility for an extended playtest? I mean, I guess there's always a possibility, but don't count on it. It's really meant to be 4 hours this time. Then we'll take those learnings and see if we can apply those to unlocking some future tests. Can you restrict access? Yep. Yeah, they're different permissions. Oh man. Jasmine said she thought she was getting sick, and now I've got like a tickly nose and have been sneezing tonight. Well, it's a good time to get sick because I'm gonna have I'm not gonna be streaming. When is it, the first week of next month? My mom and my uncle are flying over from the US. And I think they'll be here on like the 4th. That'll be like the first half of the first week, and then this second week of December will be out. So you can have community crates to help other players. That's cool. Yeah, I didn't keep up on the fact, like the public setting. I didn't really consider that. I guess it's been a thing. Every time I think of stash boxes, honestly, I almost consider it just a personal stash box. I haven't really considered the other settings very much. So. Little treasure chest hidden out in the middle of nowhere. What? It's like geocaching or some shit. Just think, you can make your own quest if you're a benevolent high-level player. How would you prevent world griefing where people could just chuck them everywhere? Is there an upkeep system? Yeah, we'll be addressing that. Can you pilfer each other's stashes as a PvP thing? Potentially, Darius. What is this one? This one's 400 by 740. Let's try that. I love this song from the Biome Jam. Be sick to do community events where they have to figure out clues to find said chests, like an Easter egg hunt. Yeah, you guys can totally do that. Ooh, I wonder if we can make it so that you could craft a key for your stash box. Hey, Kenji. See whether or not there's overlap here. Yeah, let's find them out. Borderline. John said geocaching was my first thought. I honestly, until you guys said something, it wasn't in my mind at all. I think it's pretty cool. I'm reminded of the random bag in Shaded Dunes with the note that congratulates you for finding it. Is there? Wonder who put that in. Was that Nick? There was. No idea who put it in there. Well, that's cool. You mean like someone put stuff as a little treasure for someone else to find? We're saying the possibility exists with the system that we've got. What a fun little game. We also need mimic crates. Oh, that's how we do it, XB. We gotta get the mimics in there. We've got to get mimic crates in. Don't let us forget the mimic crates. Also, don't let us forget to actually assign a spawn count to these volumes. Did I see the terrain landscape mimics from Evercraft? My mind was blown seeing it. I did. They're incredibly cute. And that just reminded me, was it somebody? Was it Lysava? Was it Quixana? Somebody asked me if I had done the trade skills in Evercraft earlier. I saw the question and it escaped my mind until just now. I did not. I just did harvesting. Like I went around finding stuff and getting it. Heard Evercraft trade skills are very OG, EQ, giga grindy, and in depth. Yeah, I think I've seen some write up from Nick on them in our Slack. Excited for both games. We're in a good time, we're in a good time for EQ-ish games. Yeah, for sure. Their game's super fun, very cute. They're great guys. I'm not just saying that because that's what we say about them. Does that even make sense what I'm saying? I'm not just saying that because we say that to their faces. We're talking good behind their backs. I enjoy the progression of their trades, but to craft one piece of armor, you need 8 different skills and a dozen of materials. Do you think it went too far? I mean, I don't know, personally think erring in that direction is more fun than not for some stuff. Maybe not all stuff, like, but if I'm in danger, blink twice. If Hidden Tree is behind me with a large wrench, blink twice. At this point, we've been talking to, I would have to go back and look. We've been talking to Hidden Tree for years, man. When we first discovered Hidden Tree, it's like a continent full of people. When we first discovered him and laid our claim on him, planted our flag on Hidden Tree, he was working on the game, but it had a completely different art style. Like Ollie or Nick discovered him on like Twitter, and his art style was very, very different. That was a cool looking game as well. But I think that was the foundation of what Eco's become. So that was years ago. I'd say probably 3 years at this point. But yeah, he's super rad dude. So as we're wrapping up tonight, I've got to say, the people I've talked to from every single one of the like EQ-ish, old school MMOs that are out there. The Embers Adrift folks. I haven't talked to many Pantheon folks, but the people that I have talked to or know just from passing, like, so talk to Joppa a fair amount. Used to work with, but I don't know him very well, Steve Clover, who's a great guy over at Pantheon. The Evercraft guys are great. Like, all the teams are super cool. It's just, so it's funny. It's funny sometimes when people will be in our Discord from like another Discord and they're kind of like, there's like this little like vibe checking us and shit, and it's like, dude, you don't have to be here. Like, go back to go back to the other Discords if you like those games better, you're happier there or whatever, because they're great people and we want to support every single one of those games. So like, there's no like, it's not it's funny, the teams that are competing are less in competition than the players between the games sometimes. It's normal, I get it. It's just, it's silly and funny to me. So yeah. So if you see anybody in Discord, if you're into Discord and anybody's like being a bit like, oh, death penalty's too strong in this game, it's gonna suck, or whatever that shit is, just like, smile, give them a little high five, give them a little good game tap on the ass, and send them back to their Discord that they would be happier at, and remind them that there's no hate, buddy. You know, there's no hate. Like, we're gonna learn from each other and borrow each other's ideas and figure out what's working and what's not, and use that to make our games better, and like wish everybody all the luck. Shawshanky, nice name. It's funny, that's weird. Like, speaking of Tim Robbins earlier, and in Maine, and I don't know, Shawshank just immediately made me think about like 10 other things that we were talking about earlier. But Shawshank, he said, first time catching a stream, usually I just watch the VODs. Hey, appreciate you watching the VODs. That's a big deal. You guys may not believe it, but I really do appreciate that you guys take the time to watch the VODs and comment and all that good stuff. Not just because it boosts us in the YouTube algorithm, but it's like, I love responding to and reading the comments on YouTube. I see it as just as much a part of what we're doing here as streaming. Since we're not huge. Every little bit counts. Josh Hank said, for sure, enjoy watching game dev process. Yeah, like I said, maybe I should be less, like, I don't know, self-critical or something. I apologize for those of you that come in here sometimes and it's like either the same shit over and over, or we're bullshitting about other stuff and not like, I'm not walking you through, I don't have a nice presentation for you like Thor or somebody else that's doing game development and going to articulate the nuances of game development in great detail. I'm just kind of like working and talking to you guys. What am I working on right now? We started with a massive placeholder spawn volume in this zone. So this is a really, really big zone. It may not look it, but a lot of what's in here in terms of props and stuff is giant sized. Like, those tents are huge, right? So they're basically big circus tents. This is a little bit more accurate. So anyways, the spawn volumes that we have here, if you've never seen the tooling before, the spawn volumes pull in these NPC spawn groups, which are essentially our encounter tables, like roll a dice to see which monsters appear. You know, and they can vary day night. We got a bunch of other triggers and stuff that plays into it, but what it does is it says for this particular volume, we're going to randomly within this volume spawn some monsters. So like in this case, 20 monsters are going to be active in this volume. Going to pull from these groups of monsters. When they spawn, then their basic command is wander in volume. So they'll wander around. They've got a 10% chance to stop. And when they stop, they'll pause for between 15 and 25 seconds. So it's a pause duration of 20 with a variance of 5. And so it's just kind of like that is the bread and butter foundational kind of bit of content that we throw in here to generate like the ambient kind of noise. And then where you see a bunch of these markers over here, this is a lot more sort of very specific, predetermined pathing and right. So these are spawners here where these giants spawn, and then some of them have predetermined routes, right? So kind of a mix there. And so since this zone's been worked on this month, it's still being wrapped up. There's some stuff that's just been coming online. So now we've got these camps here. You can see over here, like still work in progress. But we've got these camps here. And I'll be working with Nicodemus here in chat. And he's going to start getting some spawners in here. And so then this camp will become a little bit of a safer area. Whereas before, when there was one giant volume that covered this whole thing, again, placeholder. Usually what we'll do is, because we want there to be monsters running around, especially if it's a higher level of area and you guys are being a little bit, possibly being a bit snoopy, and we're having tests and you guys are coming in here, rather than let you just go everywhere and discover secrets, we'll almost always throw in a big volume or 2 or 5. Throw in a bunch of monsters in there that are higher level than we know you're going to be, and then they'll just kill you when you get too nosy, right? So now what we're doing is we're cleaning that up, and cleaning that up and making it so like this camp is safe. We may even come in here and break that, that may remove some of the wanderers here, maybe thin it out. Like if it's 20 now, we may thin it out to like 5 or 10, and then put in some predetermined spawns sort of around here and give it a camp feel. You notice there's no volume over here where these ruins are. Well, it's going to have its own vibe going on, so I'm just going to leave it for now because I know that we're going to get straight into that. Living Candies, trying to mine us for lores, already asked. Like, what are we going to put in here? Yeah, we know what we're going to put in here. You asked if we knew. So this is going to be a camp that's going to be a mix of some different sojourner clans. So you may run into one or more sojourner clans here, along with some other travelers that are sort of either making their way through and came over here for respite, or investigating some stuff here. And you may run into some other familiar character race type, not character race, but like you may run into some other familiar characters that are over here looking for some help from the sojourners and stuff. So yeah, Little Traveler's Oasis, like you said. So it gives us opportunity to do some variety here, and maybe you'll start to get a little bit feel. We're doing some more sort of like dusting off and cleanup of like the sojourners, and so we have 2 different sojourner clans in Night Harbor, with one of them being a bit more of a more settled in there. And now that I think about it, we could probably do some lore with regards to. Let me actually write this down somewhere. I'll put it in my, because you got me thinking about it, and I was like, right now I was like, oh, but we've got a sojourner clan that's kind of settled in Blackfeather Bazaar, right? I mean, that's actually the bazaar's taking the name from that clan. And so I'm over here writing real quick. So then, because of kind of the nature of sojourners and why they move around, but kind of where they go back to and all that type of stuff, we may expand on a little bit of Night Harbor lore to make that make sense. And I just had an idea. Like, talking to you just gave me an idea for how to expand on that. So, Black Feather Bazaar. Cool. That's a nice one. I can maybe take that into a discussion on Friday. Remind me of this tomorrow. Can't wait to learn the different fruits names and meanings. Yeah, so we had a nice discussion last week on the fruits concept. Do you get what a fruit is? I'm curious. It's not a test. If you don't, or you get it wrong or whatever, don't feel bad. It's not like maybe I think this is well divided, which is good timing. I'm gonna double check and make sure stuff's spawning at each one of these. Make sure they're saved. Lemon candies. Did you? I assume it's a group of sojourners with similar philosophies or goals. Lasava says, Black Feather sojourners taking up Residence City. They could feel threatened by something outside the walls. So I don't think I'm spoiling anything. It's probably going to be revealed somewhere. So a fruit is like a warden or like a caretaker. And so the sojourners derive their names from a fruit, which is a here, let me go over. It can be a beast lord, or it can be other similar sort of significant entity. And the various like fruits are linked to the fonts of life. And I'm over here. I'm gonna look into something real quick and make sure I can noodle around some lore and not give the wrong stuff away. And so we're doing some cleanup in our lore because some of this was a little different. But yeah, so you may have like there'll be a different named fruit, right? So Fruitane or oh, sorry, that's actually a different term, but like see if I've got a proper noun. One that I can share that won't be. So anyways, the Sojourner clan will if you've got like if you got the Crow Clan or the Shrew Clan, which both of those are in Night Harbor, or if you run into like Snake Clan or something like that out here, then they're often deriving their name from sort of something that represents like the fruits that they're bound to or committed to. So various ancient but you may run into some other clans that are a bit different. Like you may run into a clan similar some point you may run into the clan of the Frostworm, clan of Shadow Dragon, something like that. And we've expanded the Sojourner ideas to actually allow for more alignment. So started thinking about like, can there be Sojourners that aren't just humans? Could you, for example, run into a troll Sojourner clan? So it's something that we're kind of playing with in the lore and seeing if it'll work. Bruce Balick is a separate set of terms away from it's not linked to like Black or Blackfeather. Yeah. So anyways, I'm trying to think of a way to explain it without maybe spilling certain things prematurely, while also looking at some of the stuff that's kind of in progress cleanup with relation to Sojourners. But the Wood Elf stuff and the Wood Elf area is a higher priority at the moment in terms of getting it cleaned up and ready. So that's actually had a lot more attention in the last week or so. Since we're hoping to move from the zone formerly known as Evergrove into into really developing the city starting next month, the city above that. And we've renamed Evergrove, so it is no longer Evergrove. The new name is Evershade Weald. Yeah, sorry, you'll have to change your map. Evershade? One word? Yeah, we'll be working on Kelithic soon. Lasava, that is correct. Cool. Glad you like it. There you go, Kumidar. You threw that word out there. It was good. It was also a good opportunity to show you that yes, you can get on the team and immediately make a positive impact. On something like that. We'll wind up replacing these guys. Excuse me. We'll eventually place the stuff spawning here, but this is a good deep water for underwater caves and mobs. Well, a couple of the zones that'll be coming with the big. Huh. That might explain something. Interesting. Let me pull this down and see if that fixes our dudes running up the damn mountain problem. Now I want to log back in and check this before bed. Okay. $50. Interesting. Okay. Cool. Save this. But yeah, at least one of the zones that we have planned for the deep expansion module dealy is an underwater sea. You say it's sweet until you're swimming around in pitch black water in the deep. That may get you to change your mind. All right, cool. This is saved. Let's sea is already full of terrifying creatures. I can't imagine what's in the deep version. Yeah, right? If there's anything to pull. Don't think so. There is? Okay. Let me grab it really fast. In case critical. Pull. Update this, hit play, run in, see if this looks to see if it looks okay, and then we'll wrap up. And I promised before Friday's stream, we will have a freshly restarted machine that maybe will run a little bit, tiny bit faster. Oh, man. Yeah, if you... maybe, I don't know if you're running the same thing or if it's for a different reason, but if I leave Unity up and running for too long, it'll get a little bit... I mean, it's like that with most editors I've found. Just grab the latest. It didn't seem like as much. Wow, okay, I wasn't expecting that. I mean, grab latest. But I think it's just because my machine's so laggy at this point. The joys of video game development. You're seeing it here, folks. I think when I'm done for tonight, what I'll actually do is I'll just, when I hop out of here, I'll shut down the editor and like just shut down my machine for the night. Come in with a nice fresh reboot. But it should be a pretty fun weekend. So we're doing two things. We've just got Shallow Shoals online. We still want to do some work on the boats. So I don't think we'll see the full path anytime soon because Ollie's got work that he wants to do on the boat. But we'll see. Maybe there's a placeholder setup that we can do. But essentially, we've got Shallow Shoals up now, and we're going to dupe out a copy of Vale of Zentar and use it as a placeholder for the zone that's just north of Vale of Zentar. So the zone that is between Vale of Zentar and Evershade is called Keeper's Bite, B-I-E-H-T. Excuse me. And there's originally going to be some other zones, but we've shrunk a lot of that down when we were looking at the overall scope of what we wanted to do. So you'll go from Vale of Zentar to Keeper's Bite, and we'll throw a copy of Vale of Zentar in as a placeholder for Keeper's Bite, which should then allow you, even though you're running through placeholder stuff, but we're okay with that here, should allow you to go from the Wood Elf City all the way through Keeper's Bite, through Vale of Zentar, through Fallen Pass, through Shaded Dunes and into Night Harbor. If you want to go that route. Or you could come into Vale of Zintar, head east, and then go through Glass Flats, down through Sungreet Strand, and into Night Harbor. But essentially all of those zones for early access should then be connected and contiguous soon. Maybe not by this first coming stress test, but maybe. So that's something, right? And then we'll get we've got boats on the schedule, but boats on the schedule are they've been pushed in order to get some other functionality in, rather than spending that time to clean them up, unless like Ollie just gets a wild hair. They've been pushed to about their spring, but spring's coming, so I think that'll be a little bit, but we'll see. We might have a placeholder set up in. It would be nice to have it in. The boats are going to be on a timer. So the first implementation are boats that basically start from one of the areas, either Keeper's Bite or Night Harbor, and then they go and they travel along a set path. They stop at certain points along the way. They get to their final destination, they turn around, come back, that path, points along the way, and they take a while. In the future, we'd like to have player-owned boats. The degree to which they are controlled will be something that we figure out, but it could be that a player-owned boat will travel along a different path, or a player can have those boats travel more frequently. Yep, some classes are able to port. They are able to port now, Viper. And so one idea for the boats is to have like the boats be regular, but kind of pretty limited in terms of how frequently they go, but then allow player-owned boats to fill those gaps, and then players can charge you for traveling on the boat and like carrying stuff on the boat and stuff like that. So the work that Ollie wants to do to fix up boats, or to help address some of those questions, like the one that Tsunami-san just asked, which is, what if you die on a boat? And then Lemon Candy's asked, how will zoning on a boat work? What if the player takes longer to zone than the boat does? Those are the things that are part of Ollie's cleanup, if I'm not mistaken. Because in theory, even if it took you longer to zone and the boat starts traveling, then you would be placed on the boat. If you have a corpse, I think in other games, your corpse will usually fall off and fall into the ocean. I think keeping your corpse on the boat is one of those things that might be something that Ollie's looking at. Support for NPCs to be on the boat with you. Things like that. So it's adding additional functionality and then firming up the boat. But again, that's March. So that's an eventuality. Dragon, have a great day at work. Yep, I'm going to wrap up here shortly. So, but that's some of the stuff that we are looking at. And Viper, just to further clarify, I believe we've already got some example port spells in for both wizards and druids at this point. So. Nikyu 1, it would be in the ocean. You have to find it. That's my concern. I mean, your corpse, you're going to have instances where your corpse in the ocean still. So, but there'll be tools for players to help you with that in game. Man, it is just taking freaking forever right now. I don't know that it's critical that you see that this works. It's just critical for me to check that it works. So I might just do that off stream tomorrow morning. It's 11:30 now. So while that's loading up in the background, will the bite zone have undead? Most zones have undead, Ruffy Bard. I mean, what would its zone be without some undead? All right, while this is doing its thing in the background, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go ahead and say goodnight. If it comes up before we're done saying our goodnights, then maybe you'll see what's going on. If not, then I'm just gonna do it in the morning. But I'm gonna wrap up for tonight since I've already gone over about 30 minutes for my usual time. I'll be here again on Friday. If you're new to the stream and you're not a part of our Discord, you should check it out. We got about 10,000 people in there, but it's actually pretty cozy and nice. Even the button that brings up my commands is slow right now. That's how much my machine's lagging. So maybe this command, I forget. Maybe not. Anyway, I'll start saying goodnight, and then when shit gets done lagging, then we'll go from there. So anyways, good night, Liz Biscuits, Night Swanee, Lemon. I'm glad I could provide some value to you on that front. Night XV, Red Jerem, good to meet you again. Scruffy. Scruffy is just laughing, not saying goodnight. Goodnight, Possum, Tsunami-san. Jace the Gremlin, good to see you again. Pessimistic Squid, see you. Later, Dozakar, Kenji. Viper, you're very welcome. Thanks for being here. Always good to see you, Lasava. Good night, Dark Inside. I'll be here Friday, Scruffy Bard. See you, Kumidar. Scoop them cookies. Man, it's been a while since I said that name out loud. Good to see you. And good night. Later, Checks. Later, Isan. Man, this shit's, I think it's just dead. It's dead behind me. I'm gonna task manager this SOB when I'm out of here. No worries. Always nice to see you though. All right, I think if that's gonna wrap it up for the good nights for tonight, then I'm going to I'm gonna wave goodbye and I don't know. I guess bust out the task manager and kill Unity, and then go to bed. Check up on the news and then go to bed. Frugal Badger, thank you very much. I'll see you, everybody. I'll see you guys on Friday. Have a wonderful Thursday in the meantime.